Hello, Des Moines Mom. My name is Kara, and today we are speaking with healthcare expert Dr. Sarah Holland, and she is with the Iowa Clinic. And we are going to be chatting on the medical benefits of the COVID-19 vaccine for children ages 5 and up. As a reminder, Dr. Holland, she is a pediatrician with the Iowa Clinic Pediatric Clinic on Northeast Alice Road in Waukee. So welcome, Dr. Holland.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Tell me a little bit, how long have you been a pediatrician?
So I've been with Iowa Clinic for 4 years. I joined in August of 2017 when my youngest started kindergarten. Before that, I worked in the Blank emergency room for about 7 years after doing my training at Blank. So I guess what is that altogether? About 11 years in practice between the ER and working here in our clinic.
Yes. Wealth of experience, I'm sure.
Getting older, yes, that's for sure.
Yes, I feel that very much as well. All right. So we as parents were making this decision about whether or not we are going to vaccinate our children, specifically the ones ages 5 to 11. I know myself as a mom of two kids with their ages 6 and 10, I'm asking myself these questions too. And I'm sure that other parents, that are tuning in can relate about being more cautious, I think, about vaccinating our children than maybe what our personal decision was to vaccinate ourselves. We're all weighing, these pros and cons that are swirling around us and hearing lots of different things. Can you say, Dr. Holland, why would my child need the COVID vaccine? Why do you think parents should consider it?
I think ultimately we all, as pediatricians, think it's an important part of keeping your kids healthy. And I think we recommend it. We found it to be very safe and effective at preventing COVID. And so we are wholeheartedly recommending it for the kids that are 5 to 11. Mm-hmm. I'm a mom too. I took my 13-year-old in last spring and had him vaccinated. And then my 9-year-old was vaccinated. He got his first one last Saturday and he did just fine. And I think that speaks volumes to our belief in the safety of this vaccine, that every pediatrician I know has taken their child in to get vaccinated. And, we really do stand behind the safety of it and understand that it's an important part of kind of moving forward through this pandemic. I think I definitely can empathize with wanting to always do what's best for your kids and wanting to keep them safe and healthy. And, we as pediatricians just want to be here as a resource for you as you navigate that decision.
Okay. Are there any scenarios in which, a parent would consider delaying getting their child vaccinated? Like if they had some sort of underlying health issue?
So there aren't any underlying medical conditions that would prevent a kid from getting the COVID vaccine. So that's great. The one thing, we don't administer the vaccine to any kid who has a history of anaphylaxis to the vaccine or to some component of the vaccine. That's really the biggest thing, is that, life-threatening allergic reaction. In any place that is administering the vaccine would have medications on site to treat if that would be something that were to happen. Very rare, but that's the only thing that kind of is a no-go for getting the vaccine would be just that history of allergic reaction, but no underlying medical condition would prevent it.
Okay. How is this vaccine or dosage different from, what an adult would receive?
Sure. So it's Pfizer, right, is the only one that's approved for 5 to 11-year-olds. And for adults got 30, and so did kids down to age 12. But for kids 5 to 11, they're getting 10 micrograms per dose. So it's a third of the adult dose. And they've found that that's been enough to generate a really good immune response in kids. So it's a smaller dose, similar setup though. So it's still 2 doses, separated by at least 3 weeks. So usually when you schedule that first shot, they're also going to schedule you for your second shot just to make sure that everything stays on schedule.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Can you speak to side effects and, what types of things parents should be prepared for?
Sure. So the vaccine itself pinches a little bit, just like any other vaccine would. And it seems like kids are having very similar reactions to what adults have experienced, but just more mild. So kind of after that first shot, some mild arm soreness, maybe some swollen lymph nodes in that same side armpit. And then the second shot, there has been reported same sore arm, sometimes a little bit of a fever, sometimes some body aches, sometimes some headaches. It kind of varies a little bit, but for the most part, it's very similar to what adults experienced with their COVID vaccines.
Okay. How long will the shot protect, your child for, are they considered fully vaccinated then after their second shot, or how does that work?
Yep. So they definitely start mounting that immune response right away, but we consider them fully vaccinated 2 weeks after their second dose.
Okay.
That's when that kind of 90% comes in, where we think it works about, it's 90% effective 2 weeks after the second dose. It's not known right now how long that immunity lasts for. That's something that's being looked at on an ongoing basis. So I can't speak to that right now. We don't know how long it lasts for, definitely for this age group just yet.
Okay. So after that 2 weeks of their last dose, will my kiddos still need to wear a mask if they're exposed to someone with the virus? Will they still need to be wearing a mask? And, do they need to quarantine if they are exposed to somebody?
All the things, right? Yeah. So right now, even for fully vaccinated people, we are recommending that they continue to take those precautions that you would, have been taking kind of this whole time. So wearing masks and quarantining if you've been exposed, doing the post-exposure testing, kind of all the same, mitigation steps that have been in place continue to need to be in place for vaccinated individuals. And a lot of that is because our community transmission is still pretty high in Iowa and in Dallas County. And so we want to just make sure that until we have everyone vaccine eligible, cases are a little bit lower, that we're able to start pulling back on some of those steps. But we're still asking kids to do those things even once they're fully vaccinated.
Okay. No, that makes sense. Can you speak to, the process as far of making and developing the vaccine? And, there's lots of, people wondering, how are we able to get this out onto the market so quickly?
Yeah, so that's a super common question that I get, is people just really feel like it was rushed. And so they feel nervous about giving something to their kids that, seem to come out so quickly. And I don't necessarily think that how fast it came out meant that it was rushed. There's been decades and decades of research on coronavirus and this mRNA technology specifically. It's just never really been called upon until now. Mm-hmm. And COVID pandemic really put more money and manpower into this vaccine than we've really ever seen before. And people volunteered at, just so many volunteers came forward wanting to participate in these studies. And so a lot of those things combined made for, allowed the vaccine to be developed and in our arms quicker than most of us thought. But there were no steps that were skipped. It was just really a combination of demand and money and manpower that brought this to us quicker.
Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah, that does make sense. Okay. So I know that there is all sorts of questions. As far as insurance, will insurance cover the cost of, me taking my kiddo to get vaccinated for this?
So the vaccine is free.
Okay.
So you don't have to check in with your insurance or anything. It just, it's free at this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Great. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Holland. You've answered a wide slew of questions on there. For anybody watching, where can they find more information on, how to make an appointment or where they can take their kids to get vaccinated?
Sure. So different healthcare organizations are doing it differently. I would say it's definitely good to look on the website of your doctor's office and check out kind of what they're doing. Most places have lots of instructions about kind of what they're recommending, different information that can help you make your decision about vaccinating your child and then how to get them set up for an appointment. So you can do that online for sure. You can always call your pediatrician's office, schedule some time with your pediatrician if you want to answer your questions and help you get to where you feel like you're fully informed. I have heard this week too that there are some select pharmacies around that are administering to kids. I've had some kids that have gotten at Walgreens, some at Hy-Vee. And so again, just looking online, and you just want to make sure if you're looking that they're administering the dose that's appropriate for 5 to 11-year-olds.
Okay, right. Yeah, I'm sure I've seen, different places where you need to select whether or not you're above the age of 12 or if you're doing a vaccine for ages 5 to 11. So,
Yep.
no, I know that.
Want to make sure that that they have what you're looking for.
So is it typically that people are able to schedule these vaccines for their younger kids, either one of the pharmacies that we just talked about? Are there places that are also holding clinics where they're just doing, widespread availability for people to come?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, for example, that's exactly what the Iowa Clinic is doing as we're receiving these first shipments of doses. We're just having mass vaccine clinics. So we had one last Saturday. There's another one this Friday with Iowa Clinic, another one Saturday, another one next Wednesday. And so when you specifically, I can speak to what the Iowa Clinic is doing. If you go to our website, the dates will be available and there's just links where you can sign up for a time that works for you.
Okay, well, great. We will make sure that we include that link there. That way they can find more resources about it and also get some information about scheduling.
That would be great.
All right. Well, thank you so much today, Dr. Holland, for your time and for your answers. We appreciate, your partnership and being able to speak with, a pediatric healthcare expert and getting some information about this.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Thank you.